Hello and welcome to another Beyond Shakespeare first exploring session. It's a long title. I'm not going to remember. Today we are reading a play called Humour Out of Breath by John Day, and I just lost my cast list. And I have no idea what it's about. I have no idea, because I'm that organized. And well, our usual host, Robert Crighton, has been taken ill, unfortunately. And so we are here to read this play anyway. And so reading other parts today we've got reading Octavio and Anthino, two dukes apparently.
Liza Graham, here in London.
Reading Hippolito and Hermia and a boy.
Alan Scott in Suffolk.
Reading Florimel and Lucida. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Lynn Freitas. I live in the Northwestern United States.
Reading Francisco, Aspero, and Flamineo.
Me, Rachael, actor on the East Coast.
And reading Hortensio. Sorry, I keep forgetting the name.
Lynsey Beauchamp, actor in Kirkcaldy.
And I will be reading a page and step in for any clashes or random dropouts because life happens. And I'm Eric Karoulla, so I'll be hosting this session apparently. Yes, Liza.
Eric, I think either you or one of us should also read the Dedicatory Epistle, which isn't long and is funny.
I know, it's hilarious, right? Would you like to do that then, since it was your idea?
I am hoist by something that I can't finish the quote. It was a proverb. It was fine. Okay, I will do that. Okay. To Signor Nobody. Worthless sir, I present you with these my unperfect labors, knowing that what defect in me or neglect in the printer hath left unperfect, judgment in you will wink at, if not think absolute. Being to turn a poor friendless child into the world, yet sufficiently featured, too, had it been all of one man's getting, woe to the iniquity of time the whilst, my desire is to prefer him to your service. In which, as he shall be sure to get nothing, so likewise my hope is he shall not lose much. For your bounty neither makes strangers love you, nor your followers envy you. You are a patron worthy the sisterhood, the poor half-dozen. For the 3 elders they climb above my element, the sun, the moon, and the 7 stars being scarce worthy the survey of their workings. I protest I had rather bestow my pains on your good worship for a brace of angels certain than stand to the bounty of a better man's purse-bearer or a very good woman's gentleman usher. My reason is, I cannot attend your bis dat qui cito stands so like a lodestone over your great gate that I fear 'twill draw the iron-pated muse-mongers about the town in a short time to your patronage. For my own part, I'd rather be yours volens than be driven nolens. So, till I meet you next at your great castle in Fish Street, I'll neither taste of your bounty nor be drunk to your health. One of your first followers, John Day.
Short and sweet, and full of Latin puns that I didn't really get, but they sound kind of funny because. Any thoughts before we actually proceed to the play? I suppose not. Okay, so Act 1, Scene 1. Enter Octavio, Duke of Venice, Hippolito and Francisco, his sons, Florimel, his daughter, Hortensio, and others attendant.
Sons, hopeful buds of fruitful Italy, having banished war, which like a prodigal kept wasteful revels with our subjects' blood, since proud Antonio, our arch-enemy, is in his journey towards the underworld, or hovers in the shade of banishment, let us in peace smile at our victory, and every breast pass his opinion what pastime best becomes a conqueror.
What sport but conquest for a conqueror? Then with our wounds undressed, our steeds still armed, branded with steel, ere we wipe of the blood of conquered foes. Let's with our shriller bugles summon the surly landlord of the forest, the kingly lion, to a bloody parley. Combat the hart, the leopard, or the boar, in single and adventurous hardiment. The spirit of mirth in manly action rests. Having quelled men, let's now go conquer beasts.
Manly resolved. Hippolito, advise.
Rather like soldiers and Octavio's sons. Let's throw a general challenge through the world for a proud tourney, at the which ourselves consorted with 100 of our knights, accoutred like so many gods of war, will keep the lists against all adventurers, which like the sun's light figured in a star, should be a brief epitome of war.
Noble and royal. Your opinion, daughter.
Faith, I shall anger soldiers. I would pour spirit of life, aurum potible, into the jaws of chapfallen scholarship, that have, since amorous Ovid was exiled, lain in the frown. Ye have many holds for war. I would once view a garrison for wit. 'Twere heavenly sport to see a train of scholars, like old trained soldiers skirmished in the schools, traverse their ergos and discharge their jests like peals of small shot. Were this motion granted, myself would be free woman of their hall, and sit as sister to their festival.
Have we not Padua?
Yes, but the commanders deal with our graduates, as the general doth with his soldier, gives him place in favor, not for deserving. Look into it yourself. You have courts for tennis, and methinks 'twere meet learning should not stand bawling in the street for want of house room. Oh, 'tis much unfit. Courtiers should be all pleasure and small wit.
All that you speak is but what we command.
But officers, father, cannot understand. Their lords at first. Were not a gallant fight to see wit's army royal come from fight. Some crowned with gold, others with wreaths of bay. And whilst they hold their solemn holidays, music should like a lover court the skies, and from the world wrest ringing plaudities.
My sister would make a rare beggar.
True, she's parcel poet, parcel fiddler already, and they commonly sing in one.
Wrong neither art nor music, they are twins born and begot in heat. Your thought of both?
I think, my lord, that music is divine, whose sacred strains have power to combine the soul and body, and it reason bears. For it is said that the celestial spheres dance to Apollo's lyre, whose sprightly fires have tamed rude beasts and charmed men's wild desires. The author was immortal, the first strings made by a king, therefore an art for kings. The world's a body, every liberal art, a needful member, music, the soul and heart.
Well, for her sex hath Florimel discoursed of heavenly music, and since all conclude it is an art divine, we were too rude should we reject it. Music! I take great pride to hear soft music, and thy shrill voice chide.
To please your grace, though I want voice and skill, I'll show myself obedient to your will.
And she sings.
This would have done rare at a scholar's window. How do you like it, father?
Highly, my boys, I relished all delight, for when the fiery spirit of hot youth kept house within me, I was all delight. Then could I take my love, no love more fair, by her smooth hand and gazing in love's air, tell her her beauty beautified the sky, and that the sun stole lustre from her eye.
I do admire to hear my princely father thus merrily discourse of trifling love.
Nay, more, my boys. When I was in your years, I went a pilgrimage through Italy to find the shrine of some love-hallowed saint. Devote to beauty, I would pray for love. Desiring beauty, I would sue for love. Admiring beauty, I would serve for love. Pray, sue, and serve till beauty granted love. If she denied me, I would swear she granted. If she did swear that she could never love me, then would I swear she could not choose but love me. Let her swear ne'er so much, still have I sworn, till she hath said I should not be forsworn.
Ay, marry, brothers, here was cunning love. Learn, like good scholars, he'll make you wife in love. He was a man in love. Were you such men, then were you men indeed, but boys till then.
To please my father, all in quest of beauty, and never make return till I have found a love so fair, so rich, so honorable, as fits the honor of Octavio's sons.
Like, you pleased, vows young Hippolito.
Do, boys, and I will teach you how to choose them. Elect not amongst whole troops of courtly dames, for amongst many some must needs be ill. The seld-seen phoenix ever sits alone. Jove courted Danae when she was alone. Alone, my boys, that is the only way. Yet ladies yield that alone, they else say nay.
An expert soldier, how shall they choose them, father?
If her bright eye dim not the diamond, say, it is bright, but brighter gems delight you. If that her breath do not perfume the air, say, it is sweet, but sweeter sweets content you. If that her cheek, compared to the lily, make not the lily black with whiter whiteness, say, it is lily white, but black to white, when your choice white must have such high exceeds.
Father, you do exceed things possible. Faith, say, how many ladies have you seen much fairer than myself in all your travel?
Should the crow teach me, then no lady fairer. If judgment tell me, then a many fairer. Thou art mine own, I must think well of thee. Yet, Florimel, many do excel thee.
Should the crow teach, I am not all crow black. Though judgment, I not all perfection black. Though you have seen ladies that dim the day, yet I will think myself as fair as they.
Do, Florimel, and I'll one day get a husband for thee that shall think thee fair.
And time and faith, that pretty sport would be. Wive it for them, you shall not husband me.
Yet you will take my counsel in your choice.
Yes, if I had not years enough to choose. Would you direct me, as you do your sons, with daughter, take a man with such a nose, with such an eye, with such a color beard, thus big, thus tall, with his teeth afore, thus lipped, thus legged, thus handsome, thus apparelled? Were it not pitiful, oh, pitiful! Now, by the soul of soul-commanding love, I will not stoop to such obedience. I must be bid to blush when I am kissed, bid my love welcome, and I thank you, sir, with no, indeed, I know not what love is. I never heard so much of love before. I pray take heed, nay, fie, you go too far. With such a rabble of prescriptions as never made of a conceiving spirit will follow them. Yet, brothers, go you on. Take you good counsel, Florimel will none.
And she exits.
Ay, daughter, are you so experienced? An elder woman might have spoken less. Yet by your leave, minion, I'll watch you so, your eye shall still be governed by my no. But come, my sons, take pattern of great Jove. Early in the morning, suit yourselves for love.
And they all exit. Any thoughts?
I'm having a little trouble following cold reading, but it sounds like, war is over and now we're going to have fun. Oh, let's send the boys a courting.
Yeah, it's just what I found interesting was that Octavio was kind of like, yeah, so what do you think, daughter? And then proceeds to sort of get her opinion, and then the two boys sort of go, yeah, well, actually, we don't think arts are fun. We think they're for, using a derogatory term. And then Octavio goes, oh, but arts and music are for seducing women, for making love and that kind of thing. And it's kind of like, this is not dodgy at all.
Yeah, the Duke is kind of a dick, but so has it been with dukes since time immemorial, I think. He's kind of disturbingly candid about his evaluation of his daughter's appearance as well. It's like, you're my daughter, I have to be on your side, but you're honestly, you're like 8 out of 10, okay?
Or 7.
Hopes too high,
yeah.
Rachel, do you have a thought, or
like courtly love, medieval romance kind of thing going on about it? We're gonna go be knightly knights and court lovely ladies, and I'm kind of getting that sort of courtly love vibe from it. I don't know if that's accurate, but so we'll see.
Rachel, any thoughts? I thought you had a hand up, but then you were changing your mind halfway through. I wasn't sure. Okay. No, it's just sort of, I'm totally not going to go along with your opinion, daughter, but I mean, Octavio. Anyway, yes. So, onward. Act 2, Scene 2. Enter Anthino, Duke of Mantua, also played by Liza, who is a completely different person by this point. Hermia and Lucida, his daughters. They with angles, I think, perhaps, as in like for fishing angles, things. And he with a net.
Angles, like fishing rods. That's new scarf, new Duke. Go, daughters, with your angles to the brook, and see if any silver-coated fish will nibble at your worm-emboweled hooks. Deceive the watery subjects, yet the name of foul deceit, methinks, should fray them from you. Alack, I cannot blame the world, that in the world there is so much deceit, when this poor simple trade must use deceit. But with what conscience can I make this net, within whose meshes all are caught that come? They cozen one at once, this cozens many. I will undo it, it shall not cozen any. But, daughters, go practice that little sin, I'll mend this great fault ere the fault begin. Oh, cozening fortune, how hast thou deceived me, turning me out of doors to banishment, and made another lord of Mantua, I that was lord, now slave to misery.
Take comfort yet, dear father?
Comfort? No! My breast's turned prison, my proud jailer woe locks out all comfort. Where's your valiant brother?
All discontent, like to a wounded lion, he forages the woods, daring proud fortune at her best weapon. He accounts this smart as a flight hurt, but far off from the heart.
How holds his humour?
The same fashion still, but somewhat sadder coloured. Death may end, but never change him. See, our words have raised him.
Enter Aspero.
Fitly applied for a walks like a ghost. Why, how now, son?
Peace.
Brother.
Good now, peace. Wake me not as you love me.
What, asleep?
Aye, in a most sweet sleep. Blisters o' your tongues for waking me.
Thou forget'st thyself.
I should not be a courtier else. Methought I was at a strange wedding.
Prithee, what wedding?
Of a young lawyer and old Madame Conscience.
I scarce believe that.
Nor I neither, because it was a dream. But methought the young man doted on the old woman exceedingly.
That was miraculous. Did they live together?
In the country they did, and agreed passing well all the long vacation. And but for 2 things, he would have carried her up to the term with him.
What things were those?
One was, because her gown was of the old fashion. The other was, because he would not have her by when he took fees.
His reason for that?
For fear if a bribe had been offered, she being by, he should have had the bad conscience to take it.
But his wife and he lived together.
Conscience and the lawyer, as lovingly as men and their wives do. One flesh, but neither meddle nor make one with another.
Man and wife part? That's strange.
Oh, Lord. Sir, prophet can part the soul and the body, and why not man and wife? Now you have had my dream, Father. Let me understand yours.
How can he dream that never sleeps, son?
Oh, best of all. Why, your whole world doth nothing but dream. Your Machiavel, he dreams of state deposing kings, grounding new monarchies. The lover, he dreams of kisses, amorous embraces. The new married wife dreams that rid of her young husband, she hugs her old love, and likes her dream well enough too. The country gentlewoman dreams that when her first husband's dead, she marries a knight, and the name of lady sticks so in her mind that she's never at heart's ease till she get her husband dubbed. The captain, he dreams of oppressing the soldiers, devising strategies to keep his dream, and that dream wakes in the pate of Octavio, your arch enemy, who is not content to hurl us into the whirlpool of banishment, but binds weights at our heels, led in poverty, to sink us to the very depth that we should never rise again.
Then since all dream, let us dream of revenge.
Aye, marry, sister, that were a dream worth dreaming, and I'll sleep out my brains, but I'll compass it.
Pretty content. We kill our foes in dreams.
Hood's foot. I'll do it waking then.
Aspero!
At council table.
Hear me!
In his Duchess' arms. 'Twere base to go disguised. No, my revenge shall wear an open brow. I will not play the coward. Kill him first and send my challenge after. I'll make known my name and cause of coming. If I thought grief like a painter had so spoiled my visage he could not know me. On my breast I'd write, howe'er I am disfigured through woe, I am the thing was made for Aspero. Speak not. I am as constant as the center. Some fortune, good or bad, doth beckon me, and I will run. Bitter revenge tastes sweet. If ne'er on earth, farewell, in heaven we'll meet. Attendance, sirrah, your low comedy craves but few actors, will break company.
As many blessings as the sea hath sands attend thee in thine honorable journey, cum puero. Come, pretty maids, we have not wrought today, or fish or fast, our need must needs obey.
And they exit, they exit and then music, I don't know. Yes, so we've had these two dukes, one is an ex-duke thus far, and they are in very different situations, but the structure of the scene is very similar, isn't it? Any thoughts?
Well,
Liza, Rachael, and then I'll.
Sorry. Yes, just Anthino's. We've seen the triumphant duke going hunting, wanting to go hunting, but then casting that idea aside to go courting, and now we see the banished duke going fishing. But his son casting that idea aside to go and seek revenge. And it's Aspero's got some really interesting prose comedy bits that remind me a bit of things that were written for Robert Armin. Lynn, I know you had thoughts. Sorry.
Not related to that. I hadn't actually fired on the prose thing. I would have to look at that again. I was just noting structural things, like Eric was saying. And I noticed that the first Duke had 2 sons and a daughter, and the second Duke has 2 daughters and a son. We'll see if that means anything. And I was curious, so I looked up Aspero. So Asper is Latin for rough or harsh or difficult. He's kind of emo, isn't he?
Pretty much. Rachel, you had those.
I mean, yeah, to what I guess Lynn said, because he's reading Machiavelli a little bit. And I guess he's kind of ruthless in his writings about government. Also, I wanted to ask, when it says cum puero, because I know that means with boy, that is it just to rhyme with Aspero, or why? What does that mean in the context of that line and what he's saying when it's translated into English? Because it's just weird.
It's interesting. I wonder if cum means with, or if it's English for come. Come puero, come pretty maids. Lynn, thou art a scholar.
Yeah.
Ooh, yet thou art muted.
Yes, we cannot hear you. Alan, very close. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, the Cumprero, I do remember, is in the original facsimile that has come down to us. So if it's a misreading, then it's an ancient misreading. But, the concept of a current duke and his family and an ex-duke and his family, I'm sure I've come across that plot construct somewhere else. I'm not sure if it was in something we've done or somewhere more generally.
Yeah, Lynn, sorry.
Actually, I'm wondering if cum puero might be originally a stage direction.
Yeah, also because there's a line before that that says exit Aspero, therefore it kind of probably implies that like.
Yes. Exit Aspero cum puero, because in the next scene he enters and he's got his boy servant with him.
Yeah.
So that's probably what that is. Apologies for having read it.
It's fine.
You could be right, but that's how it was in the facsimile.
Yeah.
So as I say, it's an ancient error.
Yeah. It's interesting though to see how those errors sort of persist.
Because cum puero in that line is extra metric, so I do think it would just be attend thee in thine honorable journey, come pretty maids.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is, it's too many syllables in that line.
Yeah. Yeah, I was particularly fond of, I'll sleep out my brains. That was a good one.
I think we can all relate.
Yeah, I know. Okay, onward. Act 1, Scene 3. Enter Hippolito, Francisco, Florimel, and the page meeting with the Flamineo.
How, sirrah? What have you been about?
About my living, sir.
What's that? Feeding?
No, sir. I'm looking into the under officers about the court.
Can't get any living out of them?
Aye, sir. My betters get good livings out of my officers, and why not I? But to be plain, I've been seeking your good lordship.
But your boyship hath so sought us that we have found you.
Will you sell your findings, my lord?
They're scarce worth giving.
Florida. Lynn.
Muted.
We cannot hear you. I think it was a.
I have a stage direction for an entrance 2 lines later. Sorry. You jest.
No. Yes.
No.
Yes,
a box to keep them in.
Okay, I'm lost. Let's go back. Where am I?
Page 9.
Yeah. Yes.
Previous line was, they are scarce worth giving.
It's one line before that. Well, 2 lines.
Hormel, Hippolito. The first line I see is yet a box.
Yeah,
that's
that
it.
one. Yeah.
Okay. They're scarce worth giving. Yes, a box to keep them in, for fear you lose them again.
And I were a man as I am no woman, I'd pepper your box for that jest.
You jest.
In earnest, though I would, madam.
Well, sir, no more. Here comes our royal father.
How now, my boys, provided for your journey? Beauty conduct you. What, attired like shepherds? I thought to have seen you mounted on your steeds, whose fiery stomachs from their nostrils breathe the smoke of courage, and whose wanton mouths do proudly play upon their iron bits. And you, instead of these poor weeds, in robes richer than that which Ariadne wrought, or Cytherea's airy moving vestment. Thus should you seem like lovers. Suited thus, you draw fair ladies' hearts into their eyes, and strike the world dead with astonishment.
Father, such cost doth pass your son's revenues. We take example from immortal love, who, like a shepherd, would repair to love.
And gentle Jove conduct you both, my son. Daughter, go bring them onward in their way. Were not we called back by important business, we would not leave you thus. Hortensio, is my disguise prepared? For I, unknown, will see how they behave themselves in love.
'Tis done, my lord.
Once more, my boys, adieu. He sends you forth that means to follow you.
And he exits.
Now, brothers, you must amongst these wenches, faith for a wager, which shall get the fairest?
I'll gauge 100 crowns mine proves the fairest.
A match. I'll venture twice so much of mine.
And I'll lay against you both that both your loves, get them when you can, where you can, or how you can, shall not be able to compare with me in beauty.
That wager I'll take, for 'tis surely won.
Thus thou art but a star to beauty's fun.
Star me no stars. You go and stare for love. I'll stay at home, and with my homely beauty purchase a love shall think my looks as fair as those fair loves that you shall fetch so far. But take your course. Fate send you both fair luck.
How if 't be foul?
Nay, if it be forked, you must bear it off with head and shoulders.
Oh, stale. That jest runs the lees.
You must consider 'tis drawn out of the bottom of my wit.
Oh, shallow wit at the bottom so soon.
Deep enough to lay you in the mire.
Or else the shallow indeed, for they are founded already, but I must play done and draw them out all the mire. What's o'clock, my lord?
Which of them dost alike? Thou seest they are two.
What two are they, madam?
Why, two fools.
Is it not past 2? Doth it not come somewhat near 3, sister?
Shew Periol and take, but come, my lord, you have stood fooling long enough. Will you about your business in good earnest?
Indeed we will.
And they are deeds you must trust too, for women will respect your words but slightly without deeds.
Why are women called angels? But because they delight in good deeds and love heaven, but that it will not be one without them.
They shall have deeds.
Brother, and good deeds too, and thy tongues? And they are tongues that men must speak when they woo.
That tongue will practice. Sister, to love we leave you.
And the
Lovers, take heed lest cunning love deceive you.
And she exits with the page. That's the end of the act. I know that there are games and humor going on here, but I have no idea what it's about. It just went over my head, sort of. Alan, then Rachael.
Yeah, I think we're getting yet another sequence of brother-sister arguments, family disputes, continuation of play, nursery games that have been going on, since they were tiny.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how old they are, because obviously they think that they're old enough to court women and that kind of thing, but obviously, and old enough to fight as well. So in the list,
I would put Florimel as maybe 13 and the lad as 16, 17, something like that. So you're talking about probably confused teenagers.
Probably. Rachael?
Although the term was not existent at the time.
Yeah. Rachael, any thoughts?
I was just gonna say the same thing as Ellen. They're just making a bet and they're just making fun of her. Also, the father, I love the father's speeches, even though they're like, he's just even though he doesn't seem like too nice of a person, because he totally thinks he's like in a neoclassical or something, like he's got all the
Yeah. Lynn, any thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely get the sense that they're teenagers. I get the same feeling as several other people who have made comments. But I wonder if maybe Florimel's actually the older sister. She's 17 and they're 15 and 16. She's maybe getting a little long in tooth to be single still. She's 18, 19. I mean, I think you could play it that way. She does seem to hold her own against them rather than being the little sister. Yeah. But yeah, I think an effective way to play it would be they're all really quite close in age, so you have that competitiveness.
Yeah, I agree. Any other thoughts, or shall we move on? Okay. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter Octavio disguised. I don't know if Liza is already disguised. So Hortensio and Flamineo.
No more. Thus suited I'll attend my sons. Impute it not to any fustian vein, but to a father's wakeful providence. Lovers like bees are privileged to taste all buds of beauty. Should they light upon some worthless weed, I'll hinder it. The eyes of youth will now and then dwell there, whereas they should not glance. This doubt I fear.
And well advised, my liege. Should they incline to love not fitting their estates and births, you with your present counsel may prevent them.
That's my intent. And further, in my absence, I leave my land and daughter to thy charge. The girl is wanton. If she gad abroad, restrain her. Bound her in her chamber door. My words thy warrant, let her know so much. Farewell. At home I leave my fear with thee, and follow doubt abroad.
I'll careful be.
And they exit. Or, yeah, he exits.
Now, to my business. I have a strange habit, and I must cut out an humour suitable to it, and humours are picked so near the bone a man can scarce get humour enough to give a flea his breakfast. But I am a stale ruffian, my habit is brave, and so shall my humour be. Here comes one to give me earnest of it.
Enter Aspero and his boy.
Send him a letter that I come to kill him.
To a great valour, but little policy, my lord.
How long have you been a Machiavellian, boy?
Ever since I practiced to play the knave, my lord.
Then policy and knavery are somewhat akin.
As near as penury and gentry. A degree and a half removed, no more.
How came in the kindred twixt gentry and penury?
Shall I tell you, sir?
First, tell me what thou art.
Lime and hair, plaster of Paris kneaded together with rye dough and goat's milk. I'm of a hot constitution, will not freeze.
Thy profession?
Fool or a knave, choose you which.
Then thou art fit for any gentleman's company.
True boy, for your sweet fool and your fine knave are like a pair of upright shoes that gentlemen wear so long now of one foot, then of another, till they leave them never a good sole.
That makes your fool and your knave have such bad souls. But what dost thou seek?
Mine own undoing, sir. Service.
Indeed, service is like the common law. It undoes anyone that follows it long. Canst describe service?
Yes. 'Tis a vacant place, filled up with a complete knave, a miserable pander, or an absolute beggar.
Your opinion, boy.
I say a serving man is an antecedent.
Because he sits before a cloak bag.
He is likewise a nominative case, and goes before his mistress.
Ah, that's when the verb he goes before, his mistress, and he can agree together.
If not, he turns accusative and follows his master.
Woot follow me, fellow.
To a tavern, and that won't pay for my ordinary.
My business is more serious. Thou dost not know me.
Nor myself neither, so long as I have maintenance.
Didst never hear of the wars betwixt Venice and Mantua?
I cut some few of the Mantuans' throats. Yeah.
And wert not an knave for't?
No, I was a Venetian commander, a great man. The reason of this question?
Dost know the Duke of Venice?
I am his right hand.
Woot do me a message to him?
What is't?
Tell him I hate him. My name's Aspero. He banished my father, usurps his dukedom, and I come to be revenged.
Anthino's son. This foot has any gold?
Thy reason?
Thou shalt be revenged. Give me money, and I'll be thy snail and score out a silver path to his confusion.
No, my revenge shall be like my father's wrongs. In aperto. Lend me any honest aid.
Pox of honesty! It goes a begging upon crutches and can get relief out of few but scholars. I shall not kill him?
I'd be thy death first.
Yet you say you hate him.
Equal with my shame.
Make him chew a bullet, then.
No, though my state with poverty be tainted, mine acts and honor shall live still acquainted.
True-molded honor. I admire the temper of thy mild patience, that not all the wrongs I laid upon thee can enforce thy spleen to foul requital. Had thy coming ta'en any base level, it had cost thy life. But, being free and full of honor, live. Thy virtues teach me honor. Freely go. A secret friend's worse than an open foe. You are too honest for my acquaintance. Farewell, sir.
And he exits.
And thou too knavish for my employment. But here comes more company.
Enter Florimel and the page.
Boy, let your attendants wait further off. Under this shade, I mean to take a sleep.
And may you, madam, like a soldier sleep.
How, boy? In alarums?
No, lady, but in arms, and you had need of them too, for see the enemy comes down. Shall I sound a parley?
Peace, wag.
Peace, oh coward, offer peace, but two and two to them.
Boy, dost know what gentleman it is?
Gentle madam, no, but he's a man.
Believe me, boy, he is a proper man.
Man is a proper name to a man, and so he may be a proper man.
I love him. He's a very proper man.
She loves him for his properties, and indeed many women love men only to make properties of them.
Pray, gentlemen, if no more, tell me where you were born.
Fair virgin, if so much, nowhere, somewhere, anywhere, where you would have me.
Faith, I would have it.
Marry, and you shall have it, lady.
What shall I have, sir?
Why, a kiss.
Nothing else. We courtiers count them trifles not worth taking.
Why then bestow one of me? I'll take it most thankfully.
I will not stand with you for a trifle, sir. Pray, where were you born?
In Italy, but never yet in Venice.
You may in Venice. Gentle sir, adieu.
And exit Florimel, I'm assuming.
Gentle lady, thrice as much to you.
Farewell, sweetheart. And he exits.
What a mercy bag pudding.
You may in Venice, gentle sir, adieu. This begets wonder.
You're not wife, then? What do you take her for?
Some great woman.
Some woman great with child. Be ruled. She's a punk. Order.
But how? The means?
Make but a shot of flattery as her broadside, and she'll strike sail presently.
Flattery.
Aye, flattery. Women are like fiddlers. Speak them fair, and they'll play of any instrument.
Aye, that they can play of.
She's a botcher, cannot play a little of all.
And to common that will play too much of any. But come, I'll use means to get her.
Nay, you must first have means to give her.
Why, In the course of scholarship, the genitive case goes before the dative.
The grammarians are fools that place them so, for in rerum natura, the dative goes before the genitive. You must always give before you can get. Lovers are fools, and fools must be liberal.
Will not women respect a man for his good parts?
Yeah, some few, but all for his good gifts. A gentleman with his good gifts sit at the upper end of the table on a chair and cushion, when a scholar with his good parts will be glad of a joint stool in the lobby with the chambermaids.
I will have good gifts and show myself liberal too, though I beg for't.
I think that will be the end. For penury has ta'en a leap out of your pocket to keep court in this Christmas.
Well, howsoe'er, she's fair and courteous, and courteous fair is a fair gift in ladies. She may be well descended, if she be. She's fit for love, and why not then for me?
And Aspero exits.
And you not be fitted in Venice, 'tis strange, for it's counted the best flesh shambles in Italy. But here's no notable coward that, having suffered wrong by a man, seeks to right himself of a woman.
And they exit. The best flesh shambles in Italy. That's a new one. Yeah, just I don't know. Any thoughts? Someone say something. Rachel. No, sorry, then Rachel.
Yeah. Well, as nobody's shocked. Oh, I didn't see that coming. The daughter of one and the son of the other fall in love with each other on first sight. So I mean, you're fine. I actually, the thing about this scene I find a little disturbing is the boy's sort of, yeah, what do I want to say, bawdiness and cynicism for a boy. I mean, like, how young is this boy? He's like, women, they just like bribe them and they'll have sex with you. Kind of like, it's a little cringy.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Rachel?
Yeah, I agree. That whole scene is kind of weird and creepy, but the part of how people have been saying this is like a boys' company play. The second we got to the Latin grammar, I was like, oh my God. No, like nothing's worse than Latin, but Latin grammar jokes.
Not funny. Not funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's John Day, and he's done this sort of riff in 2 or 3 of the things we've done previously of, the boys effectively taking the mickey out of the Latin grammar and what they've had beaten into them over the course of their school careers. Yeah. It almost feels like it was a standalone sequence which has been tinkered with just enough to try and fit it into the main direction of the plot.
Yeah, but also you've got that random bit with Octavio going, "Oh, you're so honest and honorable, Aspero. Like I cannot sort of serve you for this."
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, so you've got that kind of creepiness of the boy going on, but you also have an emphasis on honor because the disguised Duke said, "You'd come here to assassinate me in secret. That I wouldn't have let you. That I wouldn't feel bad about basically." Undisguising myself, calling in my soldiers, and having you arrested and killed, basically. But you basically want to challenge me to a duel and do it openly. It's like because you're honorable, you're sticking to this code of behavior, this kind of idea of chivalry. I'm not going to confront you here. I'm going to let you go. And then Aspero keeps saying back to the boy, "I'm going to court her." It's like that he seems to be saying, "I'm going to woo her in an honorable fashion, despite your advice saying that I could have what I want without any kind of honorable commitment." So there does seem to be this sort of idea of honor being exposed here, being kind of thought about.
Rachel, the noun?
I wonder if that to what Lynn just said, he keeps bringing up Machiavel. Like, I just think that's so funny that he's so honest and so open, and so honorable. And that's not. I don't feel like it's been a while since I read his like book, but I don't think that's what he was pushing forward, so it's like
well, I'm just wondering if maybe it's because Machiavelli was exiled, so he was kind of like, after all, that was when he wrote the book. So I don't know, maybe Alan. Sorry.
I think on the Machiavelli point, we've seen him before used as a sort of general, almost insult, based on probably very little public knowledge of what was actually the content thereof. But what struck me is that whilst effectively you've got Aspero and his boy, the boy in many cases seems to be behaving in a considerably more grown-up manner than his boss.
Yeah. And the page also.
You could almost play it as being a sort of somewhat older servant.
Yeah.
Who's described as boy simply because of his social role rather than because of his age.
Yeah. What I found interesting was the bit where, sort of, well, it's almost like from Friends, where you have Joey going, well, hello, how are you doing? And then someone like sort of Florimel responds to Aspero going, well, maybe a kiss or something. It was very, very quick. I mean, we talk about like, I know it's a play, but still, it just feels kind of weird. Any other thoughts on this scene or sequence, I guess? Okay. Act 2, Scene 2 then. Enter Hippolito and Francisco dressed as shepherds and Octavio in disguise.
Look you, sir, I am like an Irish beggar and an English burr. Will stick close where I find a good nap. I must and will well with you.
What canst do?
Still aquavita, stamp crabs, and make mustard. I can do as much as all the men you keep.
Prithee, what?
Why, undo you. 20 could do no more. But business, come, my wits grow rusty for employment.
Canst keep counsel?
My mother was a midwife.
Hast any skill in love?
I am one of Cupid's agents. Have Ovid's Arzamandi ad ungues, know can Sam, and can apply remedium and minister effectuum to a hair. But why do you ask? Have you, traversed an action in love's spiritual court?
Not to dissemble, we have.
And without dissembling, you'll never come out of it. But tell me true, are you in love already, or have you but desire to be in love?
Indeed, I am in love to be in love.
And I desire to live in fond desire. And yes, I doubt to touch blind fancies, sire.
'Tis good to doubt, but 'tis not good to fear. Yet still to doubt will at the last prove fear. Doubt love, 'tis good, but 'tis not good to fear it. Love hurts them most that least of all come near it.
Then to doubt love is the next way to love.
Doubtless it is, if you misdoubt not love.
Doubt and misdoubt. What difference is there here?
Yes, much. When men misdoubt, 'tis said they fear.
But is it good in love to be in doubt?
No, not in love. Doubt, then, is jealousy. 'Tis good to doubt before you be in love. Doubt counsels how to shun love's misery.
Your doubtful counsel counsels us to love.
To equal love I like experience speak.
Experienced lover, you have spoken well.
Experience wanting lovers, truth I tell. Young wits, be wise, in love live constant still. You need nor doubt good hap, nor misdoubt ill.
And so Lucida and Hermia with angles, yes. Not
but see, your discourse has conjured up beauty in the likeness of two country maids. But you shall not come in the circles of their arms if I can keep you out.
These are too mean for love. Brother, let's leave them.
What, speechless? Will you make dumb virgins of them?
No, we are forms of a great father.
So is the Son of Heaven. Yet he smiles on the bramble as well as the lily, kisses the cheek of a beggar as lovingly as a gentlewoman, and 'tis good to imitate him. 'Tis good.
Say, sister, had we not fine sport today?
We had, if death may be accounted play.
Why, it is the counted pleasure to kill fish.
A pleasure nothing pleasant to the fish.
Yet fishes were created to be killed.
Cruel creation, then, to have lives spilled.
Their bodies being food maintain our breath.
What bodies have we, then, to live by death?
Come, you vainly argue. It is good.
What? It is good to kill? Oh, God, oh, God!
If it be sin, then you yourself a sinner.
I thank proud fortune's sort, my woes beginner.
Foot, are you not ashamed to stand by like idle ciphers in such places of account void? And they'd been rich offices, and you poor courtiers, you would have been in them in half the time. Way!
Though against stomach.
Nothing against stomach, and you love me.
Fair maids, if so you be, you are well met.
Shepherds, or be what else you are, well met.
'Tis well, if that well met we be to you.
If not to us, you are unto yourselves.
We did not meet. You saw us come together.
Whate'er we saw, you met ere you came hither.
We did. We met in kindred. We are brothers.
So, shepherds, we did meet, for we are sisters.
Then, sisters, let us brothers' husbands be.
So, brothers, without our leaves, you may well be.
Say, we desire to husband it with you.
No, we desire no husband such as you.
A shepherd is an honest trade of life.
Yet honest shepherd has with honest trade some strife.
He seldom swears, but by his honesty.
So honest men do too, as well as he.
But will you trust a shepherd when he vows?
No, never, if his oath be that he loves.
Yeah.
Yet if I swear, that needs must be mine oath.
Swear not, for we are misbelievers both.
Let us persuade you to believe we love you.
First, we entreat you, give us time to prove you.
Take time. Meantime, we'll praise ye to our powers.
Oh, sometime shepherds of idle hours.
I'll say thy cheek no natural beauty lacks.
Good, if it had been spoke behind our backs.
I'll say this is the heaven of heavenly graces.
Oh, heaven, how they can flatter us to our faces. And they exit. The two sisters exit.
Brother, the last is fairest in my eye.
Aye, but the first brother is the first in beauty.
First in your choice, but not in beauty, sir.
Come ye so near as choice, then 'tis time for me to stop, for fear the music run too far out of tune. How now, gallants, in dumps?
No, but in love.
That's a dump. Love's nothing but an Italian dump or a French brawl.
Methinks 'tis sweet to music.
And 'twere in tune, I confess it, but you take your parts too low. You are treble courtiers, and will never agree with these country minikins. The music's too base. Never meddle in it.
Peace, dotard, peace. Thy fight of love is done. Thou canst not see the glory of love's sun. Spent age with frothy clouds, they fight doth dim. That thou art blind to see, and apt to sin.
Is it accounted sin to speak the truth?
And worse, when age spits poison against youth.
They do not fit your callings. Let them go.
Yet they are fair. We love. Thou art love's foe.
I am your friend, and wish you from this love.
Canst thou heave hills? Then thou my thoughts may move. Never else.
Never.
No, never.
Stay.
We are bound for love.
Hate.
Hinder not our way.
Aye.
Brothers exit. Sorry.
Aye, boys. Will eaglets turn to bastards? Then must I change my vein, and once more prove to teach you how to hate as well as love.
And they exit. That's the end of the second act. Yeah, this is interesting. But I mean, I think we kind of saw this coming. But like,
Yeah.
I did enjoy the sort of weird, sort of ecological conscience moment of going, we killed the fish, we can't possibly kill the fish. How? And then the other one
Feels so bad
going,
to kill the fish.
how are we going to survive if we don't kill the fish? Yeah, we go vegan. I didn't know that it was a concept at the time, but yes. So
Well, there was-
any thoughts?
Yeah, it reminds me, there was a moment in Angry Wives of Abingdon where the knight's wife said something about that a deer has a life to live as much as a human being does. But it ended up kind of a throwaway moment. And this again, I think is kind of a throwaway moment, but yeah, it's really interesting. Because before reading these two plays, I didn't really realize that anybody was thinking about that this is a living thing and we live by its death, and that's morally troubling. I mean, even though we don't spend a lot of time contemplating that the fact that the idea even came up is really interesting.
Yeah, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, dramatically, we've seen this before in boys' company plays where you get this sort of four-way double talk going on. Very high speed, fast paced, lots of puns, lots of wordplay. I mean, it was obviously something that they were well practiced at doing. And by and large, it works pretty well. Yes, some of the puns are down to my usual standard, but so be it.
Yeah, to be fair, it is also kind of a bit Marston-like. I think it was in the Malcontent where we had father disguising himself as somebody else to sort of talk to his son, well, not actually talking to his son, and sort of get him to fall in love with the wife or with a bride, or woo the bride on behalf of the sort of son or something. Which was maybe not the Malcontent. Anyway, maybe the Fawn. Yeah, sorry, it took me a second. Thank you, Rachel. But yeah, it just seems very like, yay, this is fun. There are no stakes at the moment, are there? Then Rachel.
And the plot is relying on that thing, that set of circumstances. We talked about this before, that if only the characters on stage knew what we knew, there would be no play. There would be no conflict. There would be no problem. Like so I remember invoking Gammergurten's needle, that it's like, Dickon told you that? Why did you listen to Dickon? You know, if everybody talked to each other about what's your source of information, there would be no play. But I think but it also that device came up in a tragic contest. If people had only known that one thing, it was maybe in Maidenhead Well Lost that or am I mixing that up with something else, where this one guy who's a sort of more serious version of the Dickon character just wants to stir trouble up and lies to everybody, and if they had only talked to each other, like, who told you that there would be no play. And if the girls knew who the boys were, and if Aspero knew who Florimel was, and vice versa, there would be no play. But because everybody thinks that everybody else is a lower born character, there's conflict, which will all presumably work out in the end, and that's enjoyable in a way. As predictable it is, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a bit soap opera-y. I don't know what the word is. Anyway, yeah, sort of, yeah, just sort of how easily they fall for each other, which basically encourages the idea that they are teens. Alan, then Rachel. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yet again, we've got this trope about someone disguised and being unrecognized by basically his own family members, which implies either they're spectacularly dim or disbelief has been suspended from the highest bough.
It's a very well, designed moustache and glasses. I mean, come on. Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, I felt before in some other scenes that Francisco and maybe his brother too are kind of these like suck up characters to their father, and the moment they don't recognize him, they just hurl all these insults in his face and are completely different. And just how they've got no game. They're just scrubs completely. Florimel could carry a conversation, and they're like, let us persuade you to believe we love you. And I just also like this little joke here that says, I'll say thy cheek no natural beauty lacks. And then Lucida says, good, if it had been spoke behind our backs. They're talking about the other cheeks. She's just calling them these scrubs, catcalling them.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, also it's that thing of like, oh, I think the first thing they say is like, oh, let's make you our wife, or like a husband to you or something. And it's like, who even says that? I mean, Aspero, I can understand it. Like there was a build, sort of, a build up to that. Yeah. But then, any other thoughts on this scene? Liza, as the Count, the Duke, do you have any comments?
Oh, just that it's strange that the Duke, the disguised Duke, first has to urge them to woo the country maids, because they're not going to originally. They're not, and he seems to have a side saying, oh, here come two country maids, but you're not gonna date them. They're just, I guess, supposed to practice their flirting and not commit. Yeah. And then they do commit, and it upsets him. And now I don't know what he's gonna do, but I'm sure he plans to do something, because this dude, I'm learning, is just never not dramatic.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just, well, also just because like it's kind of, this is not what I was talking about. This is not what I meant. Onward to Act 3, Scene 1, the last scene for the session, apparently, which I realized that maybe enter Paige and Florimel. Sweet honey candy, madam, if it be no forfeit to tell tales out of Cupid's free school, tell what proficient your lover Aspero proves.
Now so love help me lo, a passing weak one, and very unready.
The better for women would if their lovers unready to choose.
How ready are you to play the knave, but to Aspero?
I do not think, but there's good music in him. Your tongue harps so much upon his name.
I shall never forget him.
If faith, lady, then I know what I know.
What do you know, I pray?
Marry, that if you never forget him, you shall remember him. Was he never in your chamber?
Yes, but he showed himself the strangest fool. But my troth, lo, I am sorry for it too. I had as good an appetite to maintain discourse. But here he comes. If ever I choose a man by the fullness of his calf, or a cock by the crowing, look, and bashful fool, do not blush already.
You may do well to kiss him and make him bald, madam. Enter Aspero.
Boy,
presumably, yeah.
Aspero comes in, I guess. Boy, go know what strange gentleman that is.
Slid, what a strange lady's this? Madame, though I seem a stranger to you, I lay with one last night that's well acquainted with you.
Acquainted with me?
And knows you, and loves you, and you love him, and have bestowed kind favors of him too.
I bestow favors? What favors?
Though 'twere but a trifle, he took it as kindly as some would have done a kiss.
Lord, what a while this jest has been a brooding, and it proves but addle too, now it is hatched.
'Tis a pig of your own sow, madame, and I hope your wit will bestow the nursing of it.
So it had need, I think. 'Tis like to have but a dry nurse of yours.
Oh, dry jest, all the wit in your head will scarce make sippets in it. What, aground in such a fair landing place, get ashore or be ranked amongst fools forever.
In faith, it's not pity such a proper man should keep company with a fool.
I keep company with none but you, lady.
You keep mine against my will.
So do I, the fools, I protest. But take away yours, I'll soon shift away the fools.
I have not seen a fool so handsomely shifted in Venice.
But come, shall the fool and you be friends?
The fool and I, you are too familiar.
Why, I hope a fool may be a lady's familiar at all times.
Come, you are too saucy.
Indeed, 'tis a fool's part of love to be in the sauce afore my lady. Otherwise, I am neither fool nor saucy.
Not proud, sir?
Not, coy lady. Come, why should your tongue make so many false fires that never come from your heart? You love me. I know you love me. Your spirit, your look, your countenance erase it.
You jest.
In earnest you do, and you shall note in earnest too. Lend me this jewel.
Jewel? Away, you sharking companion.
How?
Wandering extravagant, that like the drone flies humming from one land to another.
Slight, and thou hast any wit, now shew her thy sting.
And life's upon every dairymaid and kitchen wench.
And now and then on a lady's lip as
You did of mine, you would say, and I am heart sorry that you can say it. And when by your buzzing flattery you have sucked the smallest favor from them, you presently make wing for another.
marry buzz.
Double the zard, and take the whole meaning for your labor.
The buzzard's wit's not so bold yet, I trow.
A word in your ear, madame. The buzzard will anger you.
Without staying, you do. With staying.
With going I shall.
Away.
Aye, away. Never entreat, 'tis too late. If you send after me, I will not come back. If you write to me, I will not answer. Drown your eyes in tears, I will not wipe them. Break your heart with sighs, I will not pity you. Never look, signs cannot move me. If you speak, 'tis too late. If you entreat, 'tis booties. If you hang upon me, 'tis needless. I offered love, and you scorned it. My absence will be your death, and I am proud on't.
And he exits.
Is he gone, boy?
Yes, faith, madam.
Clean out of sight?
And out of mind too, or else you have not the mind of a true woman.
Thou readst a false comment, boy. Call him again. Yet do not. My heart shall break ere it bend.
Or else it holds not the true temper of womanhood. But faith, tell me, madam, do you love him?
As a Welshman doth toasted cheese. I cannot dine without him. He's my pillow. I cannot sleep quietly without him. My rest. I cannot live without him.
Oh, that he knew it, lady.
He does. He would never have left me else. He does.
You called him a fool, but methinks he proves a physician has found the disease of your liver by the complexion of your looks. But see, he returns, and enter Aspero mediating or meditating. I can't read that. Yeah. Sorry, it's meditating.
And now, methinks, I loathe him more than I loved him. Go run for Hortensio, my guardian. Bid him come armed. There's intent of treason, tell him.
My lady cannot choose but dance well. She's so full of pretty changes. And the page exits.
I wonder you dare come in my sight, considering the wrong you did me.
I came, I confess, with no intent to see you, I protest, and that shall be manifested by the shortness of my stay.
'Tis too long, and 'twere shorter than it is. Will he not court me? Not, nor speak to me neither? Nay, never ask pardon, 'tis too late. We shall have you come to my window one of these mornings with music, but do not. My patience is too much out of tune. Out of my sight, I hate thee worse than I loathe painting. I hate thee, out of my sight.
Enough. Will you be a quiet woman yet? Will you, speak afore my resolve take strength? Will you do but say you are sorry? I ask no mends, but a kiss. Kindly come. Shall I hat?
He kissed a toad first.
You will remember this another time. A toad, you will. I know thou lovest me, and I see the pride of thy humor. I do, and thou shalt know I do. Half an hour hence we shall have you weeping on your knees with, oh, my Aspero, would I had died when I rejected thee. But do, weep till I pity thee. A toad, I'll make thee creep on thy knees for a kiss.
You will?
Thy bare knees. I will, and go without it too.
Out-humored, Oh, I would sell my part of immortality.
But to touch my hand, thou wouldst. I know thou wouldst.
Oh, how spleen swells me. Help, Hortensio, creep on my knees. Hortensio!
Enter Hortensio with his man assistants.
How fares my beauteous charge, weeping lady? The law shall fetch red water from his veins that hath drawn blood of your eyes. Is this the traitor?
Traitor! In thy disloyal throat thou liest.
Oh, monstrous, so wishes you choked, my lord.
How? Choked?
I choked for a wishes the traitor in your throat, and he's a very small traitor that is not able to choke a wiser man than your lordship.
Down with him.
Aye, down with him if he's thick in your throat, and spare not.
Do not kill him, though he deserves death. Yet do not kill him, only disweapon him so.
But, madam...
I will not hear him. Keep him, but keep him safe on your lives. If he get away or miscarry in prison, as I am heir of Venice, I'll have your heads for it.
And they tie him up, bind him.
I warrant you, madam, if irons will hold him.
5 with a cord? Here, bind him with my scarf, that will hold. And yet stand away, I'll do it myself. I cannot trust him with you, lest you should let him sometimes escape free. Besides, you cannot use him according to the quality of his offense, and because I'll glory in his bondage, my chamber shall be his prison. Let him have neither light meat nor drink, but what I provide him myself.
Your will is a law, we obey it, madam.
She knows me, sure. Well, though my joys be thrall, my comfort's this, a speedy death ends all.
And exit Hortensio with assistants.
Oh, you are not gone then.
Here's a new kind of court he's never seen before, I think.
He would anger me.
Nay, you take a course to anger him first, I think.
Should I have let him go, as I could no other way detain him in modesty? And he had set his love on some other, 'twould have fretted my heartstrings asunder.
Why did you set him so light then?
Not for any hate, but in pride of my humor.
And why did you command him close prisoner to your chamber?
That I may feed mine eye with the sight of him, and be sure no other beauty can rob me of his company. I will have it all. I will not lose an inch of him. And in this, I but imitate our Italian dames who cause their friends to clap their jealous husbands in prison, that if they have occasion to use them within 40 weeks and a day, they may surely know where to find him.
And she exits. If I had any neighboring me as I am, all honesty, I can pick a notable scene of mirth betwixt these two amorists. And the page exits. That was a bit too high. What on earth? That took a weird turn that I did. I mean, we kind of expected that, once she starts getting angry with him, she's going to backtrack a bit. But like, what? Any thoughts, Alan?
Well, it's another entry on the early modern bingo, isn't it? Let's have a bit of bondage in there as well.
Yeah, I don't know. So weird.
But I mean, during the dialogue, I think you commented in the chat, Eric, that the page is not participating or seen to be participating in the scene. He's basically doing a sports commentator aside to the audience.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm reminded almost of the is that sound insert in one of the Meatloaf tracks where you get the bit of baseball commentary.
Yeah.
And he's going for third base.
Yeah. That's just Rachael then Lynn, or okay. Rachael.
I was just gonna say, oh my God, the brothers the brothers are 0, and I mean Florimel is already 1. The BDSM tying him up in our chamber wasn't what I was expecting.
Game set match. Yeah. It just, I don't know, it's such a weird scene, especially because like I suspect like that Aspero is still, when it says exit with Hortensio and assistants, does that mean that Aspero exits with them tied up, or is he basically taken to the chamber? Or I'm just confused as to whether they're, when Florimel says, should I have let him go, if that's in front of Aspero tied up or not. Just because it kind of, it would be amusing, I suppose. But yeah. Any other thoughts since we have Rachael, sorry.
To your chamber question, maybe it's like her apartments, like where somebody has several rooms sectioned off for themselves if she's the daughter of a duke.
Yeah.
And then he's just in a different room.
Yeah.
That may be a guess too far.
Yeah. I was amused by, I cannot trust him with you. You can't do anything right. If I should let him go free, what are you going to do? Or, whatever the line was. So, I suppose this is very quick. I feel like we did that very quickly. I'm tempted to try another scene because we have 25 minutes or more, but I am not sure.
Well, we're practically halfway through the script, so I think it may be more convenient to break in at this point, because I think Rob probably worked out the break as a logical point.
Yeah.
So
I suspect also, because I didn't know how long the scenes were going to be, I kind of went, I sped you through the first few, and
I think we've also got a situation, because this one is, so much of it is dialogue, which always moves considerably faster than what we've had for the last couple of days of massive soliloquies, which always seem to take a heck of a lot of time to actually get through.
Yes.
It does make pacing bloody difficult.
Yeah.
And as I said before, I get the impression that quite a number of these scenes are similar to what we've seen from other boys' companies' plays. And it's almost, right, we'll have comedy routine number 3, but we'll just tweak it a bit to make it fit. And then we'll have routine number 4, which is the grammarian gags. There's almost a bit of a cut and paste job going on.
Yeah. Well, except for the S&M. Or not. I don't know. Maybe that was a cut and paste job. We haven't read. I don't know if we've read enough John Day to make that assessment yet. I feel like we should read more.
Well, he's usually fun.
Yeah. Well, also, I think it was one of the other one of the tragedies we read, possibly, that was John Day and someone else. I want to say John Fletcher, but it's not Fletcher. Who kind of turned into, you could tell which scenes were lighter because of John Day, sort of, slightly, maybe, I don't know. I do remember Dan was in the room. Anyway, yes. So so final thoughts, who would like to begin this exploration? Lynsey. Yes.
I mean, I've had to, as you've been aware, of sort of slightly dip in and out because of various things going on at home at the moment. But I didn't really have a high opinion of this when it first started. But I thought that last scene between Florimel and Aspero was actually kind of quite interesting. It's sort of, I think this is maybe more interesting than I originally thought it was. That's pretty much the extent of my thoughts so far.
I think you have a point, though. I mean, it's kind of, it started off and we're kind of like, okay, this is dialogue. Dukes are kind of sad about their life, and then just kind of this just took it in a direction we did not expect, I think. So Liza, I'm gonna pick on you because no one's volunteering.
Yeah, I mean, I do like this play. It's competently written. The wordplay probably works. I would say the wordplay in the main works. There are bits that only work if you're a Latin student, but these guys were. So it's and the pace is nice. There's I don't think there's any overlong speeches or dwelling on beats that don't work. You just get on, do your bit, get off. And I quite like Florimel. She doesn't sigh for love, she starts fights, and I respect that.
Can we get that on a t-shirt? She doesn't sigh.
I think the Venetians are just sort of ultimate drama family.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Venice was a very dramatic place at the time.
It was then as now.
Yeah. Well, I've not been to Venice, so I cannot speak for now. But yeah, Rachel.
Yeah. Yeah. At the beginning, I wasn't that much into it. But yeah, the same as Lynsey. This last scene, I really like this last scene. They're such a messy couple together that it's fantastic to watch that that explosion of chemistry and how ridiculous it is. I also like the cheeks joke. I have no idea about Latin grammar, but I thought that Latin grammar joke was funny just because I was like, what the heck are you talking about? But so yeah, looking forward to finishing this tomorrow.
Yeah, the Latin grammar is kind of like that. We've had better Latin jokes, although I will not comment on the Latin jokes because I don't know enough Latin. Alan, any final thoughts?
No, I mean it's moving at a cracking pace. I'm not sure how well many of the gags would actually land. Verbal gags would actually land with a modern audience, but I think there is enough physical comedy that you could pull out of this that would keep an audience engaged. I mean, you can see some of it being played. It's not quite slapstick, but you could certainly get some physical comedy going in there, particularly when you get some of these almost role-playing scenes going on of everybody pretending to be something they ain't.
Yeah, definitely. And finally, Lynn.
I'm in agreement with a lot of what's been said. I would echo Alan saying that the pace is good, and some physical stuff I think would make it even more effective if maybe a little ding, 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 music when the couples meet and fall in love. I mean, like let's just play up the predictability and the corniness of the plot. Let's just lean into that. The fact that we've seen all of this before. Maybe how it works is it's so recognizable. But on the sort of level of the dialogue, a lot of the jokes are not landing for me. I mean, I'm a grammar nerd, and the grammar stuff, it's like the accusative comes before the nominative comes before the accusative. That's not funny. And then Florimel had this line that was like all these puns on eggs. Like, that's not even funny. Like, what? So yeah, sort of on the level of the language, it's not really charming me. But I think if you added some physical stuff, the plot is nicely constructed. So I think that it does have potential that way. And I just make these characters sort of exaggerated and ridiculous and have fun.
Yeah. I think it's also like there is a well, there are a few elements of misogyny in there and possible racism. I think there was like that whole thing about blacker than lilies and so on and so forth, or whatever it was. That I was like, that's not really. Anyway, but I mean, it's of its time. You can't really. I mean, in context, you can assume that would be sort of. Yeah.
I mean, it falls on that axis of the general metaphorical axis of black equals ugly and evil, white equals pure and good and beautiful, which certainly enabled a lot of racism. But literary people kept using it right up till the 20th century.
Yeah. And well, also what I found interesting, I think one of the jokes I really liked was the whole, your foot will have no soul or whatever it was. I can't remember the exact line, but that was like that was a groaner but funny at the same time. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. Rachel, sorry. Yes.
No, to what Liza just said, because we're not Queen's Arcadia, but the Tragedy of Miriam, what we were talking about yesterday. I feel like that's connected to that because we got so much of the same talk, in terms of beauty standard and a racialized beauty standard. Yeah,
definitely. That was a bit, well, not a bit, a lot. Yeah. If you want to watch that, you can go to our YouTube channel when this comes out. I don't know when that is, but anyway, hopefully they will come out in order. Anyway, and I guess that's all for tonight, or today. I don't know. Yeah, today. Yeah, day. Or yeah, I just realized that was also a pun on the author's name, playwright's name. So I guess thank you to all the readers, and see you tomorrow, I guess, or next time. Have a good one, and I'll sleep out my brains.